Today's 912 day to come here to lessons and learn. I'm learning. I hope this will support your dreams, your goals, allow you to become the person that you want to become. Today I speak about change and growth. Sometimes people say, I just want to change. I just want to change my life. But what is more important than change is growth. Because potentially you can change. You can change, but those changes lead to even worse results. So what we're looking for is not the change. We're looking for growth. But because if we're seeking for growth, we'll change byproduct. If we're looking for change, a lot of times we change in a wrong direction. So we always need to look for growth, not for change. Because when you grow, you change. But if you change without really growing, it might be that you're going backwards. So that means that we need to be sometimes cautious about that word change, because change doesn't say that you're changing for the better. It might be that you're changing for the worst. And how do you know? How do you know is based on if you're growing. Because if you're growing, then of course that change is beneficial for you. But if you're not growing, that change could be maybe you are on the same level, or maybe you are going backwards. So today I'll share multiple topics where we're supposed to be cautious about really change. So number one is really potentially moving to another city, another country, really moving and say like, I need some change. It's time for me to move. Maybe a different house, different neighborhood, but just I said that I really need to change. I really do need to move to other location. And again, we need to ask ourselves, why do we need that move? Because sometimes we want to run away from somebody, from someone, or or maybe you run away from yourself. So that means when you move, you say, okay, I want to improve. So I want to open my horizons. Because when you move, you will be able to open if you will be open. Because every single time when you move, you're able to open your narrow mind. Or you are already open, but you're really able to open your mind when you are able to move. So that means that we want to understand that we move towards something, not from something. Again, it's change. This change is to grow yourself, to improve yourself. Because when you have that thought that I'm moving for the reason of growth, I'm moving for the reason of growth. That means when you go to a new location, when the challenges and setbacks will show up in your life, you know that your main goal is growth. And because of your expectations, that challenge, that setback, will not be like stressful situation. Oh, that's exactly what I came. I came to grow, improve, and get better. And that means that you will come with those challenges with excitement rather of stress. Number two is really new career. New career with potential. So I really worked this job for the last 3 years. I need change. I need something to change. It means that the change is good. But when you say, okay, what I need to grow. So career is, again, this is one of the things that we need to grow into, improve. So what kind of things do you do on a consistent basis to improve your wisdom, to improve your knowledge, to improve your skill set, that you can really move to a different career, that you can grow in a career rather than change career? It means to be able to grow into a new career. And this is very, very powerful. So that means you can change career, or you can grow into new career. And what's much more powerful, change or grow into? Of course, growing into new career will be much more powerful. So that means that when you start to feel that maybe this career will be not for me. So maybe the first step is really, okay, what kind of skill sets do I need for a new career, a new path, a new job? And start developing immediately to make sure that we're getting ready for that as soon as possible. If you do not know what kind of career you will choose, start building at least some kind of skill set, because those skill sets will be developed. And so this is just the first thing we'll be able to develop is communication skills. Because it doesn't matter what kind of career you choose, most time communication skills will be very, very important. Number three is relationships. This kind of any kind of relationships. So like, oh, I just need change. I just need different people around me. Again, what is the reason that you need different people around you? Maybe you're not able to communicate with the people that you are now, and because of that you feel inadequate, or maybe because a lot of times you need to really understand that when you grow yourself, improve yourself, you're able to change your association because you change who you are. People want different association, but you build your association who you are, not who you want to surround yourself. You build your association based on who you are. So that means if you want to change your association, that means you need to grow into somebody. You need to become somebody else. And that is supposed to be very exciting, because when we think about our vision, we need to become somebody. We need to become the bigger version of ourselves. This is very, very exciting. So that means that you need to not to change your association. Again, you need to grow into new association. And then again, this is you need to build yourself internally, become somebody else, and really earn it a new association. It's very, very powerful, and I really love that. Number 4 is lifestyle. People don't have great lifestyles, and they just don't have results, or maybe physically it's not healthy. So people say, I just need change. I just need change. And maybe they will change the way they eat, they will change the exercise they do, they change the things that they a lot of things they could change. But now we understand that change is not mean growth. That's why a lot of people who go up and down with weight, because they just change the things that is for temporary reason works, but in general, for a longer perspective, it doesn't work. So that means you need to say that, what will allow me to grow? What will allow me to grow this lifestyle, to make sure that I'm able to sustain and make it consistent? Because a lot of times, one of the most beautiful questions is how long I could do this activity without losing the streak. Because that is one of the beautiful things, because a lot of times people do something for a month and they quit because they're not able to sustain the thing. So that means the first part is always, okay, when I want to build a lifestyle that I could sustain it, how long I could do that? And at that point, when you choose a lifestyle and you say, what kind of lifestyle could allow me to grow, improve, build my energy, and make me better? Because again, this change of lifestyle will not allow you to grow until you choose activity that allows you to grow and change your lifestyle. Number 5 is graduating. Some could be school, could be college, university, some course, or anything graduating. So what is the reason of that? Because I say I would just want to change, and I want to really go to some education. But the reason is education on the paper, or the reason is really growth and improving. Because I could tell you that a lot of times people go to some kind of education just to get paper, not get better. There's a massive difference. I think that when we really go after education, after knowledge, after wisdom, rather than the paper, we always will succeed. We'll always succeed, because at the end of the day, I think that's why so many people who do not have bachelor's degree, but they always went after education, after wisdom, always outperform people who got a college degree, but they never really saw the value of growth, of education, of improvement. So for the growth, for the education, is very, very important to seek growth rather the change itself. Number 6 is failures or setbacks. This is very, very powerful. There is a change. People say, like, I failed and I want to change something in my life. I failed and want to change something in my life. And this is very, very, very important. Every failure, every setback has a massive lesson that will make you better, stronger, faster, and will allow you to grow. Because if you failed and you didn't learn, that means that you wasted the failure. You wasted the setback. Because every single time when you see, okay, I failed, what I need to do, I need to reflect on what was the lesson. What was the lesson of this failure? What was the lesson of that setback? So it means that change, sometimes we not need to back up right away, but need to really reflect. So what did they learn? Because every setback, every failure gives you a massive lesson that you don't need to do in the future, and help other people not to do the same. So that means you focusing on growth, and knowing that every failure has a lesson, you will focus on finding that nugget. Of course, you don't spend a lot of time either, but you just find the lesson and move forward and really improve yourself, that you don't do the same mistake again. Because if you change without growing, it might be that you will do exactly the same thing over and over again. The lesson will be repeated until you learn a lesson. So that means it's very, very important to grow yourself, not just change. Because when you change, you could repeat the same mistake over and over and over. So growth is very essential. Number 7 is start a business. And this is very, very important. It's like, oh, I want to change. I want to start a business. I want to be independent. I want to be have the freedom. But what people don't understand that changing the career path and changing from employee to business owner, it requires growth. It requires changing the mindset. It requires thinking about things totally differently. Because as employee, of course, you work the work for an hour, you get paid for it. You work the job and get paid for it. As a business owner, it doesn't happen like this. You work a lot of work and you don't get paid for it at the beginning, potentially. And after that, you work, and after a while, it compounds. Because an employee, a lot of times, doesn't compound anything. You just get for every single hour is exactly the same hourly. While business owner, their hour compounds. You start from small, but they finish big. And I love that. It doesn't matter how small you start. What matters how big you finish. And that's what is for business owners. So that means that you need to grow into business owner, not change yourself into business owner. That's a massive difference. It's a massive difference because you can change yourself very easily. You can say like I'm business owner. You put on LinkedIn that I'm business owner. But what actually makes you business owner is making things happen and changing who you are. Number 8 is overcoming fear. I think this is a change. So that I just fear of something, and I need to change. I think that what the most important part is that there's always is two sides: is fear and courage. Fear and courage. And people want to change and not being afraid of fear. But I think that something that is much more powerful is to grow yourself. That means improve your courage, grow your courage. So at some point, that fear, even though it stayed the same, because you grew yourself, grew your courage, it just is not that scary anymore. So that means that, of course, we want change, but we want change through growth. So when we grow ourselves, our change will show up that we are not afraid anymore of those things that maybe it seemed difficult. It's very, very powerful to understand that we're able to bring our courage up, fears stay the same, and we're able to overcome multiple things. Not just by changing, but by growing. And last one is just very, very short I would love to mention is that a lot of times people think that, okay, we're changing automatically, so that our age is changing. So every single day we becoming older and older and older. So change is automatic. But growth is manual. That is a massive, massive difference. Because of wisdom, even though that you slowly, potentially building momentum in wisdom, you experience few things. But if you're intentional about growing, improving, it's crazy how faster you're able to really become much more wiser, much more stronger, faster, and really have the knowledge that you could really succeed in life. So I think that we need to understand that the growth is manual. Change sometimes is automatic because you don't have a choice on that. Sometimes you have, it depends on the station, but growth is always manual. Potentially, again, you're able to grow very, very slowly, but if you grow intentionally, there's no chance to lose. There's no chance to lose. So I hope that you will choose to win, and I hope you choose to really reflect on your way of how you change and how you grow to make sure that you get the best out of it. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.